Hello students, welcome to West Bengal English Medium Guide. Today I will give you the rest of the inside question answers from chapter 6, class 6 history West Bengal board. The R listed. I have given 1 to 46 questions in the previous video. If you have missed, then please check out the description box or playlist. You will find that video from there. Okay, so let's start from question number 47. How did Bimbisara expand his kingdom? He expanded his kingdom through conquest and matrimonial alliances. Number 48. What was Bimbisara known as? Bimbisara was also known to be a devout Buddhist. Number 49. Whom was Bimbisara succeeded by? How long did he rule Magadha? Bimbisara was succeeded by his son Ajatashatru, who ruled Magadha after his father's death till 462 BC. 50. Ajatashatru, through his conquest, not only became the master of northern and eastern India, he consolidated the Magadha Empire. 51. Like his father, Ajatashatru was also a great administrator and was well known for his military innovations. Number 52. Bimbisara and Ajatashatru also built cities, towns, roads, and bridges. 53. Who was the first Hindu king of India according to Mahabharata? According to Mahabharata, Bharata, the son of King Dushyant and Shakuntala, was the first Hindu king of India. 54. Who was the first ruler of ancient India? Chandragupta was the first ruler of ancient India. What was the main occupation during the 6th century? Agriculture. 56. By whom the landowners got the land cultivated? Landowners got the land cultivated by the Shudras or by Dasas, that means slaves. 57. Who were Dasas? The Dasas may have been prisoners of war or people who probably owed money to the landowners. 58. The wooden plowshare replaced by the iron plowshare. 59. It became easier to cultivate clay soil with an iron plowshare. 60. Whom did the farmers pay taxes? The farmers paid taxes to the state. 61. What was bhaga? The tax was calculated to be 1/6 of the produce. This was called bhaga. 62. Which coins were introduced to pay taxes? Punch marked coins were introduced to pay taxes. 63. Why were the punch marked coins called so? Different figures were engraved on these coins, and therefore the historians refer to them as punch marked coins. 64. Which metals were used to manufacture punch marked coins? Silver and copper were used to manufacture punch marked coins. 65. What were the functions of the officials who were appointed by the king? The king had appointed an official to collect taxes. The king also appointed an official to survey the land and measure the grain that was to be paid in taxes. 66. Name some occupation of India in 6th century BC. Some occupations are weaving, pottery, and chariot making. 67. Which places were denoted as urban centers? Many towns and cities were denoted as urban centers. 68. Which text mentions the flourishing of urban centers? Literary texts like Jataka mentions the flourishing urban centers, which included Rajagriha, Vaishali, and Champa. 69. Traders formed guilds or shrenis during 6th century BC. 70. What were guilds? Guilds were an organization of traders and merchants who had the authority and power to decide rules and regulations. Number 71. Which universities came up during 6th century BC? Taxila and Nalanda. 72. Which subjects were taught in Taxila and Nalanda? Subjects like medicine, philosophy, grammar, astronomy, and logic were taught here. 73. What was the function of the Brahmanas? The Brahmanas were expected to teach Vedas and perform rituals and sacrifice. 74. What was the function of the Kshatriyas? The Kshatriyas were the warrior class who fought wars and protected people. 75. Who were the Vaishyas? The Vaishyas were the trading and agriculturist groups. 76. Who were permitted to study the Vedas? Only the first three Varnas, Brahmanas, Kshatriya and Vaishyas were permitted to study the Vedas. 77. Who were Shudras? Shudras were the fourth Varna who were considered untouchable and were forced to live outside the city and perform all menial jobs. 78. Which religious movements were originated in the 6th century? Buddhism and Jainism. 79. Why did people follow Buddhism and Jainism? People desired simple religious practices that could be easily followed by all. Common people were unable to understand Sanskrit, so they moved to these new religious movements as they preached the language of the masses, that is Prakrit. Buddhism and Jainism did not adhere to the caste system, so the lower classes saw this as an opportunity to avoid the oppressive caste system. 80. Why did the founders of Buddhism and Jainism become popular? The founders of Buddhism and Jainism became popular among the people because they offered a simple life, no caste distinction, and non-violence. 81. Who was Vaji? Vaji, also known as Vriji, was one of the 16 Mahajanapadas that came up to during the 6th century. 82. Which form of government was followed by Mahajanapadas? The Mahajanapadas either followed a monarchical form of government or a republican form of government. 83. Vaji was a republic or a Gana Sangha. 84. Which kingdoms were included in Vaji? Vaji included 8 smaller kingdoms, out of which Lichavis, the Vedas, the Gyanatrikas were the most prominent. 85. What did the Mahajanapadas of Vaji comprise? The Mahajanapadas of Vaji comprised many Janapadas, Gramas, that means villages, and Gosthas, that means groups. 86. In Vaji, the administration functioned through a council. Number 87. How did the administration in Vaji function? In Vaji, the administration functioned through a council. Each group would send their representative to the Vaji council, where the proceedings were overlooked by a chairman or a Grama Pramukh who was elected among the representatives. Important decisions were taken after discussion and debate and after all members unanimously agreed. Number 88. Who sent Megasthenes to the court of Chandragupta? Megasthenes, an ancient Greek historian and diplomat, was sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya by the Greek ruler of West Asia named Seleucus Nicator. 89. Which book was written by Megasthenes? What was it written about? Megasthenes wrote a book named Indica, where his extensive writings about the cultures of India gave an insight into the lives of ancient Indians during the rule of Chandragupta Maurya. So these are all 89 insight question answers from the chapter Early States, the early states. So hope you understood. So that's all for today. See you soon with a new video. Till then, take care and bye.